Hey, young people. It's an interesting little video about our criminal justice system that most people don't either understand. I know I talk about how the DA's office is kind of like the cog in the wheel, and when the DAs stop prosecuting crime, or they pick and choose crime for political reasons, or because of what bathroom, or because of what color, or because what's popular, the system just fails. Cops don't get held accountable, criminals don't get held accountable, and pesky citizens pay the price. I'm going to give you my opinion on some of these things they're saying here. Here we go.
University of Utah student athlete Aaron Lowe has a long and in some cases violent.
Now this is where a black man killed a black man, except one of the black men was a a college guy who was playing football, and because he was well known, now we're allowed to address this. Every day there's black crime on white people that is not allowed or addressed like this because people are afraid to be called racist. It is the exact same thing. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're black or white, if you're a victim. Criminals need to be held accountable, and they need to be called criminals and not protected or coddled because of their color. And that's what the guy that killed this guy did. He was coddled because of his color.
Criminal history.
However, several charges and guilty pleas land him Buk Mawut Buk.
Okay, so they call this guy Buk Mawut Buk, and I'm like, what is Buk Mawut Buk? Is that like a nickname? His actual name is B-U-K and or M B-U-K. Buk Mawut Buk. Buk Mawut Buk. Yo, Buk Mawut Buk, my brother.
Behind bars for only a year. Fox 13's John Franke joins us live with a deeper look into Buk's past and how he managed to avoid state prison. John.
Well, hey guys, I researched Buk Mawut Buk's court records and came away with all of these documents. There are some very violent details in here, but in every case, he was allowed to plead to a lesser charge.
Now, in all fairness, some DAs plead to a lesser charge because cops don't have standards. Cops do such shitty jobs. Cops are out there being such bad representatives that DAs don't want to put them in front of a jury because they'll know they'll lose. So sometimes they do have to plead to a lesser offense because of shitty police work. The problem is the shitty police work is never addressed or corrected or held accountable. The DA should be putting a file in the officer's jacket saying, we had to plead this case because of your shitty report, because of your city investigation, because of your past. They can put them on the Brady list. They can say you're unbelievable. I can't put you in front of a jury. But government doesn't like to call out other government incompetence, so they just have them plea or they dismiss the charges. Not all the time. Sometimes lazy-ass, crooked DAs just want to take an easy win and say, I'll take a plea so I can say I want a case. And then when I run for DA, I can say my conviction rate is at 99%. I don't lose. That's not what it means. When a DA brags like that, I'm thinking you're a piece of shit. The only way you get a 99% conviction rate is because you let guilty people go because you don't want to go to trial unless it's a slam dunk, because you don't want to work and give citizens and victims the representation that you're supposed to be giving them. So I don't like high conviction rates, but that's what idiots believe.
Today, I asked why.
We have a process. Look, we take...
We have a process. The DAs have no process. The DAs are elected. They have complete autonomy on what cases they prosecute, which cases they don't. I've said it before. I could shoot you in broad daylight on camera in front of 1,000 witnesses. And if me and the DA are buddies, the DA can go, I ain't prosecuting. And it's done. It's over. So now somebody's going to say, well, that's not true. The state can come in or the federal can. Yeah, they can, but they don't. Because DAs do it so freaking often, the states and the feds don't have the time because they're incompetent.
Violent crime very seriously.
The office of Salt Lake County DA Gill has prosecuted several cases involving Buk Mawut Buk. In 2019, he was charged with aggravated robbery for stealing $290. The indictment says he and another suspect pulled a gun in an...
See, I hate when newspapers do this bullshit. They could get a copy of this and put a link in the description so people could read it and have full disclosure. Instead, they make it look like, well, we're the only one that really are important enough to read this, and you can't get it, and because we got it, you can't have it, and we're not going to share it. That's just a media bitch with me, but sorry, go ahead.
Knife and told the victim, "Give me all your money."
So this guy goes, a gun and a knife. That's armed robbery. That is a serious violent felony. It's right up there below murder or stabbing somebody. A knife and a gun and committed a felony robbery, a violent offense. Ready?
The aggravated robbery charge was eventually dismissed.
And one of the aggravated robbery was dropped to a robbery. Why would that?
My understanding is that there were some issues that might have had some evidentiary issues with that.
What that means in code is the cops did an illegal search. The cops didn't collect the evidence and keep it in a good chain of custody. The cops screwed up the evidence. So when they go to court, the defense is going to say, I want the evidence suppressed. And they'll have a hearing, and then the evidence doesn't get in, and then it makes the case weak. So that was code for what he just said.
And so at that time, the prosecutor did a global resolution, as we would say, taking all of those cases as 2 second-degree robberies.
In May of 2019,
Global resolution. Isn't that a nice word? This guy committed 2 different armed robberies, and he got a settlement for 2 just because they can't win in court. Cops are doing shitty investigations. Cops are allowing these people to go. The cops blame the DA for not charging. The DA blames the cops for not doing a job right. Meanwhile, pesky citizens just get re-victimized. Perfect. Gotta love government. Remember, give up your gun, because this competent government, when they only have guns, they'll protect you. You don't need a gun. Freaking idiots.
Buk was charged with another robbery, this time for taking $300 from a victim who thought he was meeting Buk to buy an iPhone. Later that year, he pleaded guilty to giving false information to a police officer.
Another robbery after 2 prior, and he gets giving false information to a police officer. Guess what this looks like for the DA's office? Yes, we got another conviction. Our conviction rate rises. It is the biggest freaking scam I've ever seen. And if you don't work in a DA's office and see how these DAs, how crooked they are, it is just disgusting.
After pleading guilty, he was sentenced to a year in the county jail.
County jail, what people don't realize is a year in a county jail means you don't go to prison. It means it doesn't count as a felony. It means when you commit more crimes, you're not a prior felon. This guy has committed 3 violent felonies that he was arrested for that we know about, not to mention the 50 that we don't know about and he got away with. And now he has no felonies on his record because they gave him 364 days. This is another scam that defense attorneys and DAs work out. We won't go to prison if you plead 365 days in the jail. Guess what the jail does? Time off. It's not violent. We're overcrowded. He might have done 3 months, if maybe 2 months, on his 365 days. But Rick, they're giving him a chance, and you just hate black people, and you hate whatever. I hate freaking criminals, and I hate the government. How about that?
Each judge is different. The process is there, but we...
Oh, I forgot. If you can't blame the cops for doing a shitty job, you blame the judge. So DAs get to blame the judge and cops. Cops get to blame the DA and judges. Judges get to blame the DA and cops. Meanwhile, nothing gets fixed. No one's held accountable. The system continues to roll, and pesky citizens pay the bill for all these idiots.
follow. Like I said, the prosecuting attorney convicted him of 2 robberies.
After being released,
Prosecuting attorney again convicted him of shit. He got a plea deal. Notice how he slid that in? We were doing a really good job. We convicted him. No, you didn't. You took a freaking plea deal. The guy signed. He was guilty. You didn't convict shit. It counts as a conviction for their conviction rate. They get to run next time for DA saying, I have a 99% conviction rate. And all the idiot sheep will go like, wow, he's really good. We should re-elect him. Freaking idiots.
Buk was arrested in November 2020 for having a gun illegally. The indictment says he was in a stolen car with a stolen handgun.
Stolen car, stolen handgun, prior robberies, didn't have to go to prison, not a convicted felon. Oh, this poor guy. Rick, he's just misunderstood. Okay. He was going to doctor school. Ask his mom. His mom said she used to call him Mama when he was a baby. That means he's a good kid. Okay.
Handgun, and he had ammo in his pocket. That charge, too, was dropped.
So, all these felonies just keep going away. Now he shoots a black man who plays college, and suddenly we have a problem.
4 individuals, but they could not decide whose gun it was. And so we couldn't meet our burden of proof. So the prosecution did what it needed to do, which was that we convicted them of something lesser.
That's bullshit. I've arrested plenty of cars where there's gun or dope in a car, and nobody claims it, and I arrest everybody. Guess what? When people are in jail, they tend to open up and tell you whose it is. They won't tell you in the car because they got the code, criminal code of, support your brother. But when they're in jail, that code goes away. So if you have a good DA, the cops will be told, if you can't figure it out on scene, arrest everybody. We'll take prints. We'll figure it out. We'll see if somebody wants to talk before we go to court. And that's the way it goes. Rick, that's not fair. You're a tyrant. Look, I'm just going by the law, people. If you don't like the law, change it. I get so tired of people chewing me out and calling me a tyrant because I follow the law. Change the freaking law. All right? I did my shit within the law. I wasn't out there being a tyrant, making shit up and violating people's rights. I followed the law.
In that case, Buk pleaded guilty to failing to stop at an officer's command. He was sentenced to 115 days in jail.
115 days this time. What do you think? The jail went, he didn't follow the officer's command. This is a low risk. We got people who are in jail for shooting people and stabbing people and raping people. Let's let this guy out for good behavior. He may have done 30 days, maybe 2 weeks.
And released in March. Now the question is, with his past, should Buk have been on the streets?
I think that's a difficult, maybe a little complex question, especially here in Utah.
I spoke with Chris Bertram, a retired deputy chief of Unified Police and an expert in criminal justice.
Expert in criminal justice. Why? Because he has a bunch of police memorabilia behind him? Is that why he's an expert?
We're trying to find a balance of justice in this state.
He points to criminal justice reform that leans toward rehabilitation over incarceration for allowing someone like Buk to be free after committing several crimes.
We do have people that commit crimes, and it's even serious crimes, and we are trying to avoid, as a state, trying to lock some of those people up.
Oh, we're trying to avoid a lockup. So we're trying to coddle our criminals. Meanwhile, victims get screwed and their lives are ruined forever from stabbing or losing a child, or cops chasing them at 100 miles an hour and they kill innocent people. Cops go there and shoot everybody and kill innocent people. Yeah. We're trying to help the criminals, though. Fuck the criminals. How about that attitude? How about if you're committing a crime, I don't give a shit? How about you pay for everything? Freaking crazy ass.
Until it becomes necessary.
He adds charging documents don't always tell the whole story, and there are valid reasons why prosecutors seek plea agreements. Now the focus is on the here and now, as prosecutors build their murder case to get justice for Aaron Lowe.
Yeah, now we want justice. Meanwhile, all the other people that were robbed, etc., they were getting plead, and he was going to county jail. But now we want justice. Now we'll still question and blame the judges. No, it's the DA. No, it's the cops. No, it's the judge. Meanwhile, freaking idiots keep paying freaking taxes outrageous. Our taxes go up. We're getting less services. They still treat people like shit. We have a tyrannical government that's growing to a standing army. And idiots are saying, yeah, we should give up our guns because only government should have guns. Freaking crazy.
We followed the evidence, and we both prosecute and file charges based on the evidence that we have. And
okay, so filing charges is different than going through with a conviction. They file charges. It sounds like they're going after this guy, right? Wrong. They're going to have the same damn excuses. Well, there's some evidentiary issues. Well, the cops didn't do this. Well, this cop isn't really credible. Well, you know what? We don't want to appear racist. The cop was white. Yeah. Let's take another plea deal. But if we take a plea deal, it's a black man that was killed, and then the black people will be upset because we took a plea deal. But if we convict the black guy, black people will be upset because we're going after criminals. It's freaking ridiculous.
And the DA here is still screening the charges for Buk's alleged involvement in Lowe's murder. Those charges have not yet been filed. By state law, the DA has 72 hours after an arrest to file those charges or request an extension. Reporting live tonight in Salt Lake City, John.
Perfect. So hopefully you got a little behind the scenes on that. I know I went long there. I know I'll have the little crybabies here. It's a 3-minute video and he talked for 15 minutes. Well, then shut the hell up and don't hit the play button. If you're too stupid not to hit the play button and you stay here, why are you crying in the comments? Have you got no freaking life? Anyway, I digress. Criminal Justice System 101. Welcome to America, where government grows and pesky taxpayers keep paying more taxes. Yeah, give up your gun. You'll be safe. Freaking idiots. Well, out there.